Hey, welcome, internets. We are here to entertain you. It is Wednesday night D&D on the Wily Hobbit Twitch broadcasting empire. Well, channel. Welcome aboard. I'm Scott, Wily Hobbit. I'll be your host, your GM. I'll be playing a few NPCs, and judging by the number of dark panels on the overlay, I may be playing a couple of PCs for a little while as well. Yeah, so to that end, let's go around the room here, and we'll go ladies first. Lulu, why don't you tell us a little bit about your character?
Hello, I'm Rebecca. I play Lulu, the level 3 goblin, kobold druid. Jesus Christ.
You got it. You got it.
Threw everything off. Um, it's fine, Rody.
She's cute. She's spunky, and she's keeping the party alive with her healing prowess. And we, or they, I should say, they appreciate it. All right, Ethan, Chris.
Hey everybody, I'm Chris, WikiVA on Discord and Twitch. My Twitter handle is below. I play Ethan, who is a human diviner. The good news is that I was able to level up since last time we played, so I'm now 124th level. And while I was picking my spells, I thought to myself, I think I'm going to take Power Word Kill Chimera. On the one hand, it's probably useful. On the other hand, how often do you really run into chimeras? I don't really know. Hopefully it pays off.
Yeah, you won't need it. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, really, how often do you see those fabled creatures? Hey, thanks for hosting us there, Andrew. Fellowship of the Tables. Appreciate it. All right, and again, I'm Scott, and I'm going to be your GM, and I'm also going to be role-playing Ezralyn, who's played by Ms. Misery, who couldn't join us this evening. And I'm going to be playing Lark, who was played by Shanalogic, and she had to leave the game, so we're super sad and all sorts of just horribly brokenhearted to not have her at our table anymore. And also equally brokenhearted and sad, Sabrina had to leave the game. She got a new work situation, so I will also be role-playing or piloting Bryphon. So man of many parts, as they used to say back in the day. So the last time we were together, which was a week ago, this is our second week in a row, maybe even third. I'll have to check the archives, but the party is in search of a 16-year-old human boy named Rhodey. Rhodey happens to be the brother of Lulu and Bryphon, who I will be covering this evening for Sabrina. They followed a tip on someone having seen someone who fits Rhodey's description, which there probably aren't too many of those people on the road from Waterdeep because he's 16, he's human, he's pretty slender and tall, and he also has really, really vibrant, vivid red hair. So he's pretty easy to spot. And this individual told them that they saw Rhodey right near the Mere of Dead Men, which is a swamp kind of between Waterdeep and Phandalin where the party is based. And so they've ventured into the Mere of Dead Men, and they find themselves inside the ruins of an old keep. And they were attacked by drow. They were put upon by goblins, and they've managed to get through all of that. And as they entered the next chamber in the keep, and by ruins, I mean, the tower's looking bad. There's holes in the roof. This place looks like it may be centuries old, the old stone keep with the crenellated tower and all of that stuff. But the floors are pitched and cracked, and walls are cracked. Some of the doors are missing. It's a pretty rough looking place. But it looks like it's been taken over or is being used by a group of drow who have enslaved some goblins for their service. And that's where we find ourselves. The party came through a door into a chamber that is 30 feet side to side, which is north-south. They're facing west. The room spans 80 feet. Is that right? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 feet, excuse me, from east, which is the wall they're entering, to west. In the north end of the room, there's a large pool of water that has formed. It's coming from about a 20-foot wide hole tunnel in the north wall. There's rubble and such around the tunnel. So either something, excavated or it's collapsed. And who knows how that tunnel got there? But there's this water that has poured into the room. There are bits and pieces of wood and rubble and spider webs and just debris in general, things of that nature spread here and there throughout this space. But what's curious is in the center of this space, shackled to a piton that's been pounded into the floor, is this very gaunt, thin, bruised-looking goblin. And as the party entered the room, and the room's fairly dim, there are a couple of torches on the walls, this is weird. This is the first room in the complex that's been lit. And he's chained to the floor in the center of the room, and he looks up and he says, "The Chimera is going to eat me! Help me! Help me! The Chimera is going to eat me!" And that's where we will start our session.
When you were describing the room, are there any other exits other than the hole with the water?
Let me consult my map again, but I don't believe there are, sir. No, there are no other exits.
So the only way out is the way we came in, and then there's this hole in the wall where water's coming out.
Yes, and you have a frantic goblin. He's tugging at the chain. It's around his neck, and his ankles are manacled to the chain that's clipped to the piton on the floor.
When he said what he said, did he say that in common?
Yes.
Ethan's going to say, "Where's the Chimera? What Chimera?"
He kind of nods towards the opening in the wall. Through there. Get me out of here. He's going to eat me. Please, you got to save me.
We're looking for someone. Human.
I'm here. I'm right here. Here I am.
Have you seen the human?
What? A human?
Tall, red hair, thin.
His eyes get really big. He kind of looks around. If you get me out of here, I'll tell you where he is. How's that sound? I don't know. He kind of looks around.
Your life depends on your answer. Have you seen him?
Are you intimidating him?
If he finds it intimidating. I guess I'm not trying to intimidate him, but if he finds it that way.
He kind of looks at you and looks down the tunnel. And, Okay. You got to get me out of here. You promise you're going to get me out of here, right? And he kind of lifts his hands.
I want to know where the human.
He's down that tunnel. At least that's where I saw them take him. But there's a Chimera down there. Nasty thing. The Dark Elves, the Drow. Galira and her nasty Dark Elves.
How many?
Oh, goodness. There was like a dozen, maybe a couple more. Let me think. 10. Yeah, 10.
Did they come back out of the cave?
Well, you probably saw a bunch of them up in the other rooms up there, didn't you?
I saw dark elves. Will I see more in the cave?
Should be, yeah. Galira's back there. Unless the Chimera's eating her.
Galira.
So you're going to get me out of here?
Who's Galira?
Who's Galira? She's the boss.
Why are they here?
Ezra and Lark step into the room, and they're not getting near the goblin, but they're looking at him, looking at the tunnel. Bryphon's kind of hanging by the door with her bow up, covering the opening. And I'm sorry, what was your question? I was talking over you.
Why are they here, the Drow?
Because we're here to learn stuff about this place and see, it could be a good place for Drow to be, doing Drow things, I guess. I don't know. I'm basically a slave. Where's all the other goblins? They were just in the other room there.
All right, I'm gonna say, just stay here for now.
Kind of holds up his chains. Really?
I want you to be quiet. We're going to look to see what's happening. And if you cooperate with us,
It's gonna
good things
eat
will
you.
happen to you.
It's gonna eat you. You know that, right?
I've gotten this far, haven't I?
Did you have to come through a chimera to get here? I don't think so.
Yes, Lulu.
Well,
Lulu holds up her spear, like a threatening manner towards the goblin. If goblin lying, Lulu personally poke eyes out.
He looks at Lulu and he's like, kind of rolls his eyes.
Well, you do have me in a
that's
bad position, so okay. But there's a chimera down there, and there's dark elves back there. I saw some of them just came through a little while ago with pickaxes. Excuse me. I get my tools mixed up.
the human was alive when they took him
Oh yeah.
into the cave.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Did he seem hurt?
He didn't look too good, but he's alive. I think they roughed him up a lot.
So
He looks sick.
quiet. And if you cooperate,
What?
we'll help you.
What?
Understand?
This isn't cooperating? I mean,
Well, you have to continue to cooperate.
if you cut me loose, I'll help you. I'm good with a sword.
With a goblin.
I could
I'm sure.
cut things, stab things. I know where the chimera is at.
Yeah. Tell me about the caves. How deep do they go?
Oh, they go pretty far back in there. Yeah. It's like 2 big sections of caverns and the tunnel. The tunnel's back there. That's where the drow went. That's how they get back home.
And where did they take the human?
I don't know. I'm chained to the floor. For all I know, they fed him to the chimera.
Where's the chimera at in the cave system?
Well, he's been hanging out in front of the tunnel. If you get back in there, you got to go through this water. Can you smell that? Ah,
It smells like egg water, sulfur, fairly pungent. Lark walks over and she's poking around in the water, and you could see her kind of like, ooh, kind of nods her head when he says how bad it smells. The tunnel itself is about 20 feet wide, and it gets pretty dark pretty quick back there. She lets you know, or they let you know that they can see down that tunnel a little ways, but it looks like it veers right.
there's the chimera's back there, kind of where the tunnel's down the left side, and I don't know what's on the right side. I'm guessing maybe Goliath's over there. I don't know. Maybe that's where they took your redhead.
All right.
Can Lulu roll insight on this whole conversation?
What's that?
Can Lulu roll insight on this?
Oh, sure.
Can that-
Sure.
Well, that did fucking nothing with it.
A 2?
So total of 4.
4? This guy seems super earnest about everything he has said. Like he is trying to win you over. And he believes you're confident he believes everything he's telling you. 100%.
Why you want to help is just slave.
Because I don't want to be eaten by the chimera. I think that's why they chained me to the floor. They're trying to get the
You
tunnel.
will help us.
The tunnel collapse. See, they're digging out the tunnel. They want to get back down to down to the Underdark. That's where we came from. We were sent up here like a scouting party.
All
But
right.
if you help, won't that make them want to feed you to Chimera more?
Well, I'm hoping you kill him. That's what I'm hoping. The drow and the chimera.
Well,
Doesn't that sound good?
Be quiet.
Oh, here we go with that
Be
again.
quiet. And if you cooperate, continue your cooperation, good things will happen. If not, my half-orc friend has kind of a bad temper.
Ezralyn looks over when say that, and she glares at him, and he kind of just, you see what little color there is in his face kind of run out, and he kind of cowers as she walks over and pulls her greatsword and just kind of smirks at him just for effect. You know Ezralyn better than to think she would ever abuse a chained goblin. Or do you?
So you understand? You understand what I'm saying to you?
I mean, I'm not going anywhere. I'm certainly not going to scream. I don't want the
Quiet.
chimera to come in here.
Good. Then we have an understanding. All right, I think we should start looking down this cave.
Lark.
Yeah.
Lark. Go ahead.
Well, can Lulu, oh gosh. Did we rest before we came down here last time?
You guys were long rested
the
when this
last time
started, and since you've entered the keep, you've not had the opportunity to long rest or short rest, for that matter.
Right.
Oh, what are my spells? I have one spell left. Oh my god. Okay.
How many spells do we need, really?
For a druid, I need all
it's
of
like
them.
it's like a picnic. Think of it as a picnic.
Well, that means I have one cure wounds left, potentially. Can Lulu's raring to go? Like, she wants to go. Can she head towards the entrance of that tunnel and just peek around the corner?
Sure, and as soon as you head that
Stealthily?
way, Bryfon's going to follow you closely. Ezra kind of stops you. Do you really want to go down there first? She says, looking down at you.
Need to find Rhodey. If he hurt, it's not good.
Go ahead. I'll be right behind you.
Rhodey may be big and strong, but still just human.
Go ahead.
She's gonna try and stealth down the tunnel, staying low.
Yeah, roll your stealth. The water is actually so warm relative to the cool air of the cavern you're now in. You're in a cavern. These walls are now cavernous versus the stone walls of the keep. But go ahead and roll stealth. The water's only ankle to shin deep on a kobold. It smells very sulfurous.
Okay, so 18.
Okay. It's also dark down here. There's no light. But you go, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and about 25 feet, the passageway, the tunnel, which is between 20 and 15 feet wide. It kind of changes, because it's rough. It turns to the right. It bears, you're headed north, and then it bears east. And the water continues this whole way. And as you turn east, you have dark vision, correct?
Yeah.
Are you
50
going to
feet.
turn the corner or just like peer around the corner?
Peer around for now.
Okay. So as you peer around the corner, the water is getting a little bit deeper. It's a little warmer, and it's steaming because of the cool air of the cavern. The water is actually kind of steaming. It's dripping from the ceiling. Everything is damp and humid and chill down here. And you see into a natural cavernous chamber that is roughly about 60 feet north to south, which is left to right as you're facing the chamber itself. There's a tunnel leading out of the north, which would be your left. There's a tunnel leading straight across out of the room, due east. And then the chamber is just a chamber to your right. There's a wall, just kind of a round wall. So the chamber is kind of oval shaped as you're looking at it. The oval ends are left and right. And there's a passageway left and a passageway straight ahead out of this chamber. It's about 30 feet or so across and about 60 feet wide. There's, some rock and some debris and stuff, and that's all you see. And this water smells bad. Ezra's right behind you with her sword drawn. Lark is behind Ezra. Bryphon is staying back to cover the group. I'm assuming, Ethan, are you coming down the...
Yeah, I'm coming down. I have a torch, so
Okay.
otherwise I can't see.
Right, I got you.
So it's 2 paths, and then over here is a cavern.
So it basically, the tunnel you're in opens into a cavern. And as you're looking in that cavern, in the left wall, which is north, there's a tunnel leading out.
Oh,
And in the wall across from you, where you're coming in, is a tunnel leading out. That's the east wall.
okay.
The south wall to the right is just the wall of the cavern. Does that make sense?
Can we? Yeah. Can we hear anything?
Make a perception check, please.
Well, alrighty.
Can we both do that?
Oh, yeah. Good grief.
So just so I'm clear, on a clock, it's a tunnel at 9 and 12
Yes,
in the chamber.
the way you're facing.
Okay.
Yeah, north is 9,
100%.
east is 12. You got it. What you got, Ethan?
My roll was a 19.
Okay. Lulu, how'd you do?
7.
Okay. Excuse me. So, Ethan, you kind of do one of these
Waters.
signs because you hear this sound. You're like, what the heck is that? And it sounds like metal tapping on stone. And it sounds like maybe multiple metal objects tap. I mean, you have to listen. And it's kind of echoing. And you have to listen carefully, closely. But yeah, it sounds like
Can I
somewhere.
Can I tell what path it's?
It seems like it's coming from the left, but you're not 100% sure you trust that just because you're in an echoey, caverny thing. The ceilings in here are probably about 20 feet high. So it's, it's kind of an expansive cavern. Because if you remember, when on your way down to the room where the goblins were, you went down like 40 feet of stairway, to this lower level. So you're definitely well underground.
So I'm gonna say softly, so that the others can hear. But I'm gonna say that I hear pick sounds like digging sounds. Maybe from the left, to the left.
And how big is the chamber? Is it
60 feet north to south
across-
and about
across.
30 feet across to the tunnel from where you're standing.
so Lulu can see all of it then?
Mm-hmm. And the chamber appears empty.
Okay. Lulu will continue forward, as she has been. And Ethan said it came sounded like from the left,
Yes.
from 9 o'clock. Okay. She'll try and peek down the 9 o'clock
Okay.
tunnel.
The tunnel narrows to about 10 feet wide, and after about 20 feet, it turns right, and you can't really see beyond that.
Okay, she'll relay that to the group.
Ezralyn leans in and whispers, "That's where the goblin said the chimera is."
Maybe we check down that path instead, the 12 o'clock path, just in case.
Let's see what we can see.
So, do we want to continue down the 9 o'clock or 12 o'clock?
Well, so Ezralyn said the goblin said the chimera's down the left path.
Correct.
Right.
The 9
That's
o'clock.
what she
Yeah.
said?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the 9 o'clock path. Let's check down. Let's go straight. Let's see what's down that way.
12
Okay.
o'clock? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do that then. if we go towards the 12 o'clock, can Lulu try to perceive again? See if she can hear anything down the tunnel? 12 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you going to try to stealth ahead again, Lulu? Or are you just going to
Yeah.
have the whole party come down?
Oh, what Lulu to do?
Let's stick together.
Ezralyn kind of nods and looks at the
Well,
party.
Lulu.
Yeah.
Sorry. 19 for perception down the 12 o'clock tunnel.
Yeah, so that tunnel, as you cross this chamber, you leave the water. The water was coming from a spring or a crack in the ground in the center of this cavern that opened up from your tunnel that you were in. You quietly step out of the water. The tunnel at the 12 o'clock position in the east wall starts off about 10 feet wide. There's a little alcove on the right. There's nothing in it. It's another pitch black tunnel. The flame, the flicker from Ethan behind you is illuminating some of it. There's rubble and so forth scattered around. The tunnel bears a hard right and opens into a cavern that's a little bit smaller than the one you just left. And you see piles of rock and debris, what look to be maybe bones here and there. And there's about a 15-foot wide, like the tunnel. There's an alcove kind of on your left where this chamber is, and then the tunnel widens and keeps going to the southeast. And in that alcove opening chamber there, before it continues southeast, that's where you're seeing like the rubble and the rock and the what looks to be bones. Human bones with red hair. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's keep.
Wiley, no.
Let's keep checking. Let's keep going down that path. Let's see where it goes.
If Bones here, maybe Goblin wrong about Chimera location.
Maybe.
Are you going to check out the bones?
Well, Lulu's basically saying if the bones are here, maybe this goblin was wrong about the location of the Chimera.
Right. Okay. All right, so you're going to keep on going? Okay. So yeah, you can keep going. It's about 15 feet wide, and it opens into another cavern. It kind of bends to the right again, and it's facing due south. More bones, more rubble. There are a couple of alcoves on each side of this cavern, darker kind of corners. And you're close enough to one kind of set or pile of bones, and it looks like a goblin-sized skeleton, mostly intact, charred. Like charred black, like it's been burnt. And there's a tunnel at the end of this chamber that goes to the south. Like you could go straight through this and down that tunnel. And you just, this chamber you're in just has little alcoves, and there's like a wall kind of outcropping, and, it's just a natural cavern.
Lulu looks back to the group. Do chimeras breathe fire?
Does Ethan know the answer to that?
Roll intelligence.
Yeah, let's see. I got the 12.
Okay. I was giving you a DC 18 on this because I know you're a learned young man, but your area of interest and study is more in divination and soothsaying or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, no, you don't have any idea. You've heard of a chimera, you've heard they're scary, but you don't really know other than they're scary and they apparently like to eat goblin. You don't know.
So I'll say all I know is that the drow we encountered didn't set us on fire.
Lulu have hunch that chimera here somewhere, not other way.
Well, why don't we back out to the other room, go the other way where the pick noise was coming. Maybe they have him digging.
Maybe.
But I tend to agree. It seems like the chimera may be this way.
Mm. Okay.
Okay, so you're in this chamber. You've got the kind of the outcroppings and the alcoves. Again, rubble, bones. Nothing much else in here. Um, and then the tunnel to the south. You're going to turn around and go back the other way and up the 9 o'clock tunnel then? Is that from the initial cavern where the
that's what
pool
we're
is? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So you make your way back, sneaky sneak. And this time it would be a right turn because you're coming back into the chamber from the other side. The tunnel is about 10 feet wide and it bears to the northeast and opens into a large cavern, largest space you've seen so far. The north end of it goes beyond your visual reckoning, those of you with dark vision and torches. There are a couple of alcoves right on your right, and you see more charred bones of small humanoids. You see various bits of wood and rubble. Make perception.
So just to be clear, we found burnt bones on both corridors.
Yes.
Oh god.
My perception was a 20.
10.
Okay. So, Ethan, as you're coming down this tunnel and into this area, you notice here and there are some pretty serious scratches in the floor and some in the walls here and there.
Like from claws.
Something, yeah.
I'm gonna point that out to the others.
Okay.
Just
As-
nervous because like.
Ezra
Do I
tightens
still
her
hear
grip
the,
on her
this was-
greatsword. Go ahead.
This was the direction I thought I heard
Yes.
what I assumed was.
Yes.
Maybe
And
the
with
noises
your
don't-
additional
I don't know.
perception that you just rolled, you can sense that, yeah, I kind of hear that now. And it seems a little more pronounced, a little louder. And it seems to be coming from somewhere in the darkness ahead as you stand in the
And
kind of the mouth
does
of the
it s-
tunnel at this cavern.
Does it still sound like metal hitting stone? think
Yes,
that's
it
how you
does, in
described
fact.
it
It
the
still
first time.
sounds fairly distant, but you can hear it tapping a little bit.
And okay. And I'm sorry, what were the ways out of this room again?
So the tunnel you're in opens into this large cavern, and you have a couple of alcoves on your right about 20, 25 feet away. The alcoves have about 15-foot wide mouth, and the dark vision from the kobold, you can see into the alcoves. You can see the bones and the debris. There's nothing in there. The passageway, the chamber itself, the cavern itself opens to the north, and it vanishes into darkness. No light source or dark vision you possess. It lives illuminating the entire. You can't see a back wall, a tunnel leading out, anything. Seems to be a pretty vast cavern. The ceiling is actually starting to slope upward and higher, just like it was. Same thing was happening in that other chamber you went to. The ceilings were a little higher, probably 25, 30 feet.
I'm going to whisper to the group. I'm certain that the metal hitting the rock noise that I heard before is coming from this direction, but it's further away.
Oh gosh. Lulu wants scout ahead, but can't go invisible. We'll be small and quiet.
So you're going to stealth in?
I mean, Lulu wants to, but she's kind of like consorting with the party.
Again, I think it's probably safer if we stick together.
A bigger group is more attention. Especially with fire.
Well, want you to take a look ahead, but be careful and come back if you see anything. Come back quickly.
Lulu will scout ahead as quietly as she can.
Okay. Are you going to go straight in or follow the kind of the left wall or the alcoves on the right?
It's hard to manage without a map to see. Lulu's going to hug the wall to the left and just like peer outwards.
Okay.
Just try and get as much information as she can about the area.
Okay, go ahead and roll me a stealth and then a perception.
Okay, come on. Well, stealth is 10.
Okay.
And perception 9.
Okay. So
God damn it.
you catch yourself kicking a couple stones accidentally. The floor isn't incredibly even and smooth, and it's not a horrendous crash or anything like that. Nothing jumps out at you, but your nerves are on edge and you're listening for any little sound as you feel your way up the left wall. And the left wall kind of gives way to the left, so you've kind of gone around a little bend, but you're out in this. You can tell by the air around you and as far out as your dark vision allows that you're in a large cavern. And as you're looking kind of down the left wall, creeping along, I'm assuming you're going pretty slow, you notice coming into the range, what is your dark vision, about 60 feet? Coming to the range of your dark vision, you can see on the left, the wall kind of curves around and vanishes into the dark, but along that wall is a large heap of something. Could be a pile of rocks. It's hard to tell in the darkness.
What's frustrating is that she's a cold wall. She should be used to moving around in dirt and caves and stuff. Okay. Upon seeing that, can Lulu gauge how big it is potentially compared to her size?
It's probably 12 feet high, 15 feet long. It's hard to tell.
Big.
It's kind of an odd shape. It could just be a pile of rocks.
Not gonna jinx it. Lulu's gonna go back.
Okay.
Like with like a.
Ezralin's like peering into the dark, waiting for you, looking for you, and she kind of, okay, what did you see?
Lulu's going to actually go up onto Ezra's shoulder, and she's kind of like, Lulu see big shape in darkness, kind of jaggy, but. Chimera not known for being smooth, right?
She's like, I don't really know much about Chimera, if they're even real. But from what I've heard, they're nasty. I think they can fly. And they definitely eat meat. And they're probably pretty big.
Pile much bigger than Lulu. When she was near the pile, could she hear anything at all, like breathing, or was that part of the perception check?
Yeah, no, you couldn't. I mean, it was 60 feet away where you stopped. You stopped when you could see it, which was all the way out at the edge of your dark vision.
Gotcha. Okay. So that's like 80 feet from us, or 70 feet?
Yeah, about from where you are, about 80 feet away, down the left wall, in the back of the cavern.
Was in back of cavern, like maybe 70, 80 feet away.
Ezralin's looking at the party. Bryphon kind of speaks because I could shoot it with my bow and see what happens. Because I have dark vision, I could get close enough to see it.
I don't like this. This is bad. This is scary.
Don't y'all wish
Songbird.
it was first edition with infravision? The ability to see heat in the dark.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Let that go away.
5th edition, it's dark vision.
Hopefully. Bryson can try, but gotta be quiet.
I can
To get to Brody, we're gonna have to.
I can sneak up there. I'm good at sneaking. You want me to go shoot it and see what happens?
No.
It's probably just some rocks.
How far away are the rocks from us? The whatever what we hope
The
is
pile,
a rock?
the dark, the
It's like 70 feet.
large form. Yeah.
Yeah.
About 80 feet from where you are now. If anyone with dark vision moves 20 feet forward, they would be able to kind of see the outline. Obviously, you'd need to get closer to get a better, more detailed look at what it is. Closer, yes. Come closer.
No.
What's the matter, Lulu?
Everything's the matter. Everything.
So I'm going to. I want to point my finger in that direction where the rocks are.
Okay.
And I'm going to slip a piece of copper wire out of my component pouch, and I'm going to cast message, and I'm going to say towards that big thing of what is hopefully rocks. I'm going to say in Elvish. I'm going to say. Your snack is awaiting you in the main cavern.
You're casting message.
Yeah.
The range is 120.
Yep.
Okay. So you do that, and you hear this kind of snort, snuffles, and you hear some scrabbling coming from down in that cavern.
Shit.
I found it.
Can I give you an inspiration for that?
You can.
Is that all right? It's pretty damn clever.
I might.
Oh no.
I mean, it could be it could be Rhodey. You know, he might just have allergies or something.
No, it's not. You made the wrong choice.
I'm gonna whisper to the others, Chimera.
Ethan,
and start backing.
Roll
out the way we
perception.
came. Ethan, roll perception.
We will curse quietly and Conic
Yeah, I
very
got a
quietly.
I got a 21.
Oh.
You notice with your keen ear, and you've grown accustomed to listening to the pinging of the metal, the ringing of the pickaxe head, zzz, has stopped.
Uh-oh.
It is silent except for some wheezing and some movement deep in the cavern ahead of you.
Okay, I'm gonna start scrambling back the way we came.
Everybody backs up.
Follow.
Lark, Bryphon back up. Ezra stands in the tunnel mouth waiting for Lulu to step back behind her, waiting for you, Ezra, or Ethan, to step back behind her. And then she keeps her sword drawn and backs down the tunnel with the party. What the hell was that? She says.
It's the Chimera.
How do you know that?
I just spoke to it.
You what?
I spoke to it. Let's move to the other side of the cavern and let it pass. Perhaps while it is occupied with our goblin friend, we can find Rhodey.
So where are you going?
Back to the when we were in the main room and we could have gone 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock. So back into that main room and then go 12 o'clock
12
to where
o'clock.
we
Okay,
were.
that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. So you go into that chamber where the first alcove and all the charred bones are. Grab a quiet spot. Ezra stands in the 15-foot wide entrance to the alcove, but kind of around the corner behind the wall. So if someone were to walk past that, they wouldn't see the group because you're tucked away, 25 feet in, unless, of course, they have a torch or, I don't know, dark vision. But, you seem to feel like you're fairly well concealed.
Okay.
And you sit and you wait. Roll perception, please.
My good perception rolls have to end at some point.
We're using them up.
Oh, I got a 21.
Ezra's like, Ezra says, I hear it moving. Something's moving in that big area where we just came from. And you also, Ethan, you hear what sounds like clawed feet scratching around. You hear kind of a low groan and the kind of the flap of leathery wings kind of flapping and stretching a bit. And some ragged breathing. Still no pinging.
Still no pinging. All right. I don't know. Let's keep going back into this cavern and see if we can find Rhodey this way instead of. Let's keep going down this way.
So noon.
Yeah.
You're gonna go due south through the big cavern further, and into the tunnel you didn't go down last time.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so you do that. Again, there's alcoves, 2 alcoves on your right, big opening on your left as you go through this large cavern. It's kind of bigger than the initial cavern where the water was, but not as big as the cavern where you believe to be, or you believe the Chimera to be. And the tunnel narrows. The exit of this space is about just a little over 5 feet wide. And it's only about 5 feet before it opens into a cavern. Stalactites, stalagmites here and there.
So wait, time out. So the cavern narrows to 5 feet?
Just a tunnel from the bigger cavern into this new space.
Into this new space. So,
yeah.
So like a Chimera-proof entrance, perhaps?
You don't know.
That's what I'm banking on.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's dark in here, but you have your torch, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you walk in, and the chamber straight south, you're coming in the north side of this cavern, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 feet across from where you are at the opening of this tunnel to the far wall. It's about 25 feet wide. More debris, more bones, piles of rocks. Is it stalagmites that are from the floor?
We'll say that.
Yeah.
It's the floor ones. We'll just go with that. Anybody who wishes to kind of roll me perception as you're looking around.
Oh, I guess I wish to do that.
Nat 20, so 22.
Yay.
Finally.
I got another 19. Man, I'm killing perception rolls. That's making me nervous about all my other rolls.
Okay. Let me roll some perception for your party mates. Lark's looking around. Ezra's looking back up the tunnel. Bryphon is there looking back up the tunnel. And all at once as you look up and you hear Lark gasp. And in the ceiling, behind, kind of clinging to a stalactite, you see the figure, armored figure with this really cool looking like lightweight spider silk, this shock of kind of platinum blonde hair, female, fit, almost ripped, you'd say, right? Very dexterous looking, purple dark cloak, high hard boots, bits of plate, armor, kind of ornate, very fancy looking. The cloak and the coloring on the armor is the same color, dark purple, very ornate. Exposed midriff, covered chest. Looks to have a hand crossbow in one hand and a dagger in the other. And I'm going to ask you to roll initiative, please.
She's going to really appreciate it when we tell her there's a chimera running loose around here.
Wait, is she a drow or we can't tell?
Oh, she's a drow all day long. I forgot to mention that. Sorry. I don't know if that matters to you.
All day long.
Okay, initiative is Dex, right? Yeah, okay. All right, 25 to 20, please. 20 to 15.
18.
What do you
And
have,
I
Ezra?
16.
Okay. Oh, I got to roll initiative for 3 characters here. I'm sorry. Give me a sec. I keep forgetting. Okay, so
You're
now it's
like the whole game.
going to be exciting time. Ding ding ding. All right. Pray for an initiative. Yeah, she'll go tomorrow. Lark. Oh, she'll go the day before tomorrow. And Ezra, right? Ooh, Ezra, nice job. Okay. You also see in the room 2 forms on the floor. One looks to be human-sized, cloaked, woolen breeches, high soft boots, hooded, manacled, ankle shackled to a chain to a piton in the floor. 15, 20 feet deeper into the cavern, you see a much smaller form, also cloaked, woolen breeches, hooded, manacled, shackled to the floor. And then you have this drow clinging to a stalactite in the ceiling. Ezra raises her great sword and steps across the room, not realizing there's a drow up there because she didn't perception very well. And she heads toward the 2 forms on the floor with her sword drawn. She pounds it against her hand like she does, and it kind of gets that glow that it gets. And she makes her way across the floor. The figure...
Just a reminder,
Yes.
Lulu's been on Ezra's shoulder the entire time.
Okay, so Lulu, you're riding along. And you may certainly speak to Ezra if you wish.
Lulu's able to see that, yeah. She's going to very quickly tell Ezra that there is a drow above them.
Ezra looks up with her eyes wide and puts her sword up as the drow reaches back and pulls out an ugly curved dagger with some kind of like black ichor on the blade. And she throws it in the direction of Ezra. Where's my attacks? There we go.
Well, at least it's not a chimera. So
12 does not hit Ezra. So it glances off of Ezra's armor and clatters to the floor and leaves this ugly black streak of thick, viscous liquid on the armor. And Ezra just kind of sneers up at her. Is that the best you got, bitch? And it sneers back in some foul-sounding guttural language. She almost doesn't sound female as she speaks this language.
do I understand it?
Do you speak Undercommon?
Oh, no, I don't speak that.
Nope.
Damn.
And she pulls a dagger off her hip and throws it. And it too clatters off of Ezra's armor and falls harmlessly to the floor. It is Lulu's turn.
Lulu will immediately look up at the drow and in Elvish proclaim, we don't want to fight, just looking for someone.
She spits in your direction. There's no one here that wishes to see you.
My brother want to see me.
She just kind of cocks her head at you, like, what? And it's your go, Lulu.
Is she still talking to the drow? Is that okay, or is it combat
Yeah,
only?
just a couple more things, and then it's going to be
Oh.
take your turn time.
Uh, okay, Lulu will quickly say, tall human, red hair. Seen him?
She just sneers and laughs at you and spits in your direction and draws her hand crossbow up.
Lulu will do the same.
Okay, it's your go. She has taken her turn by attacking Ezralyn.
I don't want to fight her. I don't want to fight. Lulu will hold her attack, and she'll just repeat one more time, we don't want to fight.
Then you should not have come here.
So if she moves to shoot, Lulu will shoot.
Okay, she's had her turn, so her motion will, you're going to hold an attack, and if she moves, you'll do your thing?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Ethan, you're next.
So I am going to pull out a twig from my component pouch, and I'm going to start casting my spell with the twig in my hand. And as I cast and say the words and make the motion, the twig sort of starts to elongate until it becomes almost like blue energy that strikes out at the drow lady.
Nice.
And
hey, drow lady.
Hey, drow lady. I'm gonna witch bolt her.
Oh, it's not very nice.
Well,
she's wearing this really cool spider silk armor with, it's got like shoulder plates and breastplates and, midsection, like pelvic plates. Her joints are covered, and then that long flowing purple cloak.
So I got an 11, which I'm gonna assume doesn't hit.
It does not.
So I'm going to use one of my I'd take it a +2 doesn't help me.
No.
Okay, so I'm going to use one of my inspirations.
Reroll that? Okay.
Try again.
Great. That's fair.
And this time I got a 14.
+2 would work for you in this case.
And I'm going to use a +2.
All right, so you're down to 5 for the party. Cool. So go ahead and roll your damage of your witch bolt.
All right. Oh, I got 10 points of electric damage.
Ooh, yeah, she kind of shrieks and kind of twitches, and oh,
and she's dead.
No, not quite.
Okay.
Okay, she kind of loses her grip on the stalactite and catches it again, and climbs, tries to get a little higher. So 10 damage. That looked like she didn't enjoy that too much. She kind of spits on you. Curse you! You'll die for that, you puny human. How's that for?
Yeah, I'm going to tell
typical?
her that, and I'm going to tell her the chimera might eat you first.
Is that your turn?
That's all I got.
Okay, very good.
That's it.
Okay, Bryphon is going to draw her bow and fire at this drow. Okay, and the arrow just disappears up into the ceiling, clatters around and falls. Bryphon says something that sounds less than pleasant in Elvish. And Galira laughs. And it's not pleasant to behold. Lark looks up. Oh, jeez. She's going to look at the creature, and Lark's going to press her fingers to her temple. And you see Galira kind of wince and flinch. Oh, she fails her save. That's a fact. So she's going to take some, I believe it's necrotic, yes, and it's going to be D12 because she's taking damage, as Lark casts Toll the Dead for 8 damage. As Galira winces and a little bit of blood kind of comes out one ear. Well, you probably can't quite make that detail out of the corner of her mouth as she's like, fussing about, still clinging to the stalactite. We're back to Ezra. What does she have? Oh. She's going to point at the drow and fire magic missile. And it's D4 plus 1 per missile, isn't it? Or is it D4
Yes.
plus 1 total?
It's D4 plus 1 per missile, I believe.
How many missiles do you get at first level? Is it 3 at first level?
30.
Why can I not remember the most used spell in the history of spells? I'm going to
I
freaking
think
look it
is
up.
3. I'm looking it up.
Let's say yes.
Each dart 3.
Yeah, 3 darts, each dart, D4 plus 1. Okay, I'm not losing my mind. Just old. Okay, I can live with that. 3, 4, 5. 5 damage. As pew pew pew, 3 magic missiles blast up into Ezra. Or into Galira. And it is now the drow's turn. She moves to try and take a little bit more cover, which there isn't much. So go ahead, Lulu, and use your action from your previous turn that you've been holding if you'd like. Because she's moving
Should
around
go
in the
ahead and
ceiling.
shoot.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is a 13.
You can use a +2 to hit if you wish, but that does not hit.
No, that's fine. No, that's it. Well, as a bonus action, can she ask? I'm blinking. Could you just ask if the red-haired human is here?
She laughs at you.
Lulu will take it as a yes because that is
Have all of you stayed, other than Ezra? Ezra walked into the chamber. Lulu, you're on Ezra's shoulder, so you're kind of directly beneath this drow. The rest of you are kind of in the entryway to the chamber. Would that be fair?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I know Bryphon likes to kind of hang back. Lark didn't need to enter the room. Ethan kind of stayed there and did his pew, pew, pew. Witch bolt. Okay. So she's going to gesture and mutter something in that guttural language. And you see her drop something. And all of a sudden, this 15-foot radius of absolute pitch darkness just manifests right in front of Ethan, Lark, Bryphon. Okay? Lulu and Ezra are on the drow side of that darkness. So it's just kind of right between you and the drow. And I mean, like your torchlight doesn't, do anything.
a magic darkness. Okay.
It's
Does it
drow,
hold a candle to the darkness?
Yes, it does not hold a candle. I see what you did there. Yeah. And then she's just going to move about the ceiling. And as she does so, a swarm of bats is disturbed and drops down out of the ceiling and swirls around the room, just creating chaos and squeaking. And it swirls down around Ezra and Lulu. And I'm just going to have it go last in initiative. How does that sound? Does that sound pretty cool?
Yeah.
Sounds awesome.
Sweet. Okay.
Love bats.
All right, we're going to go now with Lulu. What would you like to do? It is your turn. You're directly below the drow. You can see her moving about up in the ceiling. She has her hand crossbow out.
How high?
About 25, 30 feet above you.
Okay. Okay. Lulu will try and hit her with her bow again.
Okay, go ahead.
Short bow. Oh gosh. 19 plus 3.
That'll do it.
Whatever that is.
That's a good hit. So you launch an arrow and it hits her in one of her thighs. Thunk. And she squeals. Ow! Damn you, she says in Elvish. You little dragon shit.
That's 6 damage.
Nice. Okay. And she calls you dragon shit. Anything else you'd like to do?
Look at the best dragon. That's it.
That's it? Okay. Ethan, you're behind what appears to be a very dark darkness. It's about 15
I've
feet
still got my witch bolt.
around. Yes, you do have a witch bolt attached to your quarry.
So I'm going to shock her with the witch bolt.
Yep.
And she would take 6 additional electric points of damage from
Okay.
that.
Yeah, and you can hear her scream in pain.
And then I'm going to take my movement. Well, I'm going to start using my movement to move into the room and try to get beyond the darkness.
Okay. The first 15 feet of your movement is in darkness, and then you can step out of it. It seems to be fixed on a point in the entrance to the tunnel. And you can look up and you can see her lurking up there. You're up near Ezralyn and what's her name? Lulu in the center of the room. Let me give you the room dimensions again, just to refresh your spatial memory. So you're in a chamber, and about the center of the chamber, it's west to east, which is west is your right, east is your left. You're facing south. It's only 30 feet across, and it's 30 feet deep. So you're like right dead center beside Ezralyn and Lulu. All the way to the south wall are the two what look to be bodies, one rather long and lanky, one rather short and stumpy. They're hooded, and they're laying there, chained to pitons on the floor.
Okay. And she's hanging on to one of these stalactites?
Yeah.
Lights?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
She's clearly
That's
very
all I got.
dexterous, very lithe, very strong. She's thrown 2 daggers while clinging. She's cast a spell while clinging.
And there's nothing, well, does this look like it's set up for some kind of ritual?
It's a cavern. It doesn't look like anything other than a cavern to you. There's debris and, chimera turds or whatever. It's a nasty, stinky, damp, cold cavern.
I'm hoping there's no chimera turds in here. I'm hoping that thing can't get in here.
2 bodies and a swarm of bats.
Yeah. Okay. That's all I got this turn.
Okay, very good. Bryphon is going to attempt to move into the room because she cannot see, and as she moves forward, she grunts and trips and stumbles, and now all of you are enveloped in darkness, as she apparently has brought it with her. Because apparently the drow fixed the darkness upon the archer. And she's unable to do anything because this darkness is fixed upon her. Lark, who has had the darkness leave, is going to attempt to toll the dead again because she's been uncovered by Bryphon moving into the room and bringing that dark sphere with her. Oh, another failed save.
Right.
Oops, cocked dice. That's 10. Lark is crunching this drow. So 10 more damage as, blood is pouring out of the ears of this drow as she squeals and winces in great pain. the swarm of bats comes down, and the four of you are all kind of in the center of the room together. So I'm just going to roll a d4. Lulu, you're 1. Ezra's 2. Ethan is 3, and Bryphon is 4. We're going to see who gets attacked by the bats. That's 4. That's Bryphon, right? I'm sure that misses with a 5. So you have these bats just flapping and chirping all around you, and it's just, since you're in pitch and utter darkness, it's disturbing. It's unpleasant, to say the least. Ezra, it's her turn, and she's going to try to move out of the darkness, and she is able to do so. And she moves toward the 2 bodies at the south end of the cavern and stoops over them while looking up at the drow. And the drow curses at her in Elvish, "No, get away from there!" And so Ezra stands guard over the bodies. Galira aims her hand crossbow at Ezra. Man, my attack rolls are vomit. Where's my Galira sheet? There you are, my dear drow princess. Okay. Oh, what is it? 7 and 7 is 14. And I don't have any +2, so that's not going to hit Ezra. As a crossbow bolt coated in thick black ichor clatters to the floor beside Ezra. She quickly grabs a dagger, another dagger, and whips it down at Ezra. Oh, missing. Goodness gracious, my D20 rolls are horrible. Every one of them's been below 10. It is Lulu's turn. You are immersed in total... Oh, no, you're not. You're riding on Ezra's shoulder. You can see the drow firing daggers and crossbow bolts and missing.
Okay. How far away are we from the human on the floor?
You're standing over the 2 bodies. Ezra is, and you're on her shoulder. You're right there.
Then Lulu will drop down and see if she can get a look at the human's face.
Okay. You're going to try to pull the hood?
Yeah.
Okay. It's tied securely around his neck. Not tightly. He's breathing. You can tell immediately that, he kind of rolls around and fusses. But it's going to take you this entire turn to get the hood off. Okay?
That's fine.
Isn't that awesome? All right. Ethan, you're up, sir.
I'm going to shock her with my witch bolt again.
Nice.
And that time she takes 8 electrical damage.
Jeez.
And I'm gonna say out loud, "Bryphon, the darkness is cast on you." And then I'm gonna use my movement to get out of the darkness.
Okay. You're basically in the center of a clock face. I'll have you facing south, the direction you were facing when you entered the room. So you could go to 12 o'clock, which is due south. You could go 9 o'clock, which is due east. You could back up into the tunnel next to Lark, which would be 6, or you could go to 3 o'clock, which is the west side of the room. You have choices.
Which way did Ezra go?
Ezra and Lulu are at 12 o'clock at the wall where the bodies are. Lulu has hopped down and she's fussing over one of the bodies.
I'm going to head in that same direction.
Okay. Yeah, and you only need to move 15 feet, so you can easily get there.
Okay. And that's my turn.
Okay. Very good. All right. It is Bryphon's turn. And you hear her, again, curse in Elvish. And she's going to back into the alcove on the west side of the room, thereby plunging that entire side of the room in darkness. So you assume she's over there. You can't see her, but the darkness went over there. And so now that whole, the rest of the chamber is basically able to be seen in torchlight or dark vision. And Lark laughs as the sphere of darkness reveals the drow. And she's going to cast Toll the Dead again, because that's a cantrip. How cool is that? Let me make sure I'm doing that.
It's a good one. It's a winner.
It's a winner chicken dinner. Here's my saving throw. A 2. Are you kidding right now? We're going to get killed by Toll the Dead. 1 damage from that one. Finally, a little justice. Okay. The the swarm. I'm just going to do the same 1, 2, 3, 4 this time, not on Bryphon because it's all. Oh, they don't see darkness. So I have 6 of you, right? So I'm just going to roll a d6. Lark,
Yeah.
Ezra is 2, Bryphon is 3, Ethan's 4, Lulu is 5. Coming after Lulu. So it's the swarm of bats comes around you as you're fussing over the prone body. Let's see, is that going to be enough to hit? Does a 16 hit?
That's armor class, so yeah.
That's your armor class? Oh, goody. I mean, oh, sorry. How about 5 piercing damage? You feel just these little bites and scratches as these swarms of bats swoop into you, making a little squeaking and these creepy bat wings on you, blah, 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 you know, flapping on you. It's gross. It's weird. It's creepy. Yeah, it's just like, you're just like, oh, heebie-jeebies. Ooh. Yeah. Ugh, get off me. Ezra is going to take a swing at the swarm of bats with the flat side of her broadsword, or her greatsword, and she's going to booming blade it again. Oh, boy. That is a... Whoops. Oh, that's a hit. Oh, yeah. So 2d6 plus 5, and then d8, that's 9. 3 is 12. Okay, so she like wipes half of these bats, just blasts them up against the wall. They splat, and the swarm is like reduced by half. And we are back to Gulaira. She is going to fire her hand crossbow at the wizard. Now that you've exposed yourself,
Who's that?
as a caster, she knows this witch bolt, this horrible electricity that's racking her body, is coming from you. So she fires her hand crossbow at you. Please tell me that a 13 hits.
Well, I am going to use my reaction to shield that.
Oh, I forgot to tell you we're not using the reaction mechanic today. It's no reaction Wednesday. Now go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm going to use my reaction to cast shield. And
Okay, up your armor class
stop
by
it.
5, is that right? Or by 2?
No, 5.
5, that's what I thought.
Let me check. Yeah, it is 5.
Oh, it is? Okay. See, I got to give myself a little credit. I remember more things than I realize. Okay,
Oh,
yeah,
you-
so that
you
probably
know a
misses
lot.
then. She's going to snarl and spit and pull a dagger out of goodness knows where, right? Like, where are these daggers coming from? And, you know, she's got little pouches, and now that you've had a chance to see her a little bit, that's a nat 1. And so it obviously misses you. That's no question. Let's see what the dagger does. It snaps. The blade snaps on it. So there's now 3 daggers on the floor, and then 2 half daggers, right? 2 parts of a dagger. And she curses again. Lulu, it's your turn.
Okay. Well, we've gotten the hood off, right?
You can use your action to finish removing the hood.
Oh, okay. That wasn't part of the last action?
Yeah, that's your action for the turn, but you'll have the hood off because remember it's like tied in a knot and all that crap. So you pull the hood
Oh.
and you see the familiar
And
face
while she's doing...
of your brother Rhodey, and his eyes flutter open, and his hair's a mess. You know, it was red, now it's like dark, messy. He's got a bruised face, some cuts, and his eyes just flutter open. He's gagged with a nasty rag of some kind of nastiness. And tears immediately flow when he sees you. And he's just like,
Oh, God. He's going to work on...
What a baby.
jeez. Oh, that's beautiful.
Lulu's going to immediately work on the gag part. Try
Okay.
to get that.
You can use a bonus action. Do you have a dagger on you?
I have a spear that's broken.
A broken spear? That's probably not going to do it. You don't want to give him a sliver in his neck or anything. Yeah, I'll give you. You can untie it with a bonus action, but you can't speak to him until
Yeah,
next
okay.
turn. I'm kidding. Go ahead if you want to say something. He's like, Lulu, oh my gosh, thank you for coming to save me. And he's like openly weeping. Who are these people?
No. No.
She has the keys.
Lulu will immediately relay that to the group. Crazy lady have keys.
Okay. Ethan, you're up.
How
What's that?
I'm gonna zap her with.
Witch bolter again?
I'm a zap. Yeah, I'm a zapper with.
How long does it? Does that have like a duration or a number of zaps?
It does. It doesn't.
Is it like a
does.
minute?
It has a duration of yes.
Okay. Cool. We're nowhere near that.
I did. Yeah, it is up to a minute. Yes.
Yep.
And I did 7 points of electrical damage.
Oof, nice. Okay. Yeah, so she's starting to bleed. Some of her skin is burned, electrical burns. You know, she's kind of got a twitch from, you know, or some of her hair is kind of smoking a little bit from all this electrical attention. Anything else you'd like to do with your movement or bonus action?
No, I think that's good for now. That's good
Okay.
for now.
We're going to go to Bryphon, who is trapped in the darkness of the corner. Rhodey, is that you? You can hear her yelling, Rhodey, where are you? Is that Rhodey? Yeah, it's me. Are you here, Bryphon? He answers. Everywhere she moves, she's like coming towards you guys when she hears the voice, and the darkness is coming with her. And she gets to where Ezra, Ethan, and Lulu are, and Rhodey and the other body, and plunges the area into absolute darkness. It is just absolutely pitch black. Rhodey's like, what's happening? Why is it so dark? And Lark, since she can't melee Galira, is going to try to toll the dead. And so we'll make another save. That's a 4. Really? For freaking 12 damage.
Yeah. All the pot shots.
Roll perception.
Who?
Anybody who wishes to. All of you. Because you hear Lark
I got a
gasp. I mean, she gasps and says something in a language none of you understand.
I probably understand it. I got a 10.
There's a hulking shadow in the tunnel entrance, and Lark uses her movement to run across the room and spin and face it, and you all see the form of this in the doorway. I put the imagery on the stream. It'll pop up in a minute. But it's a crazy looking dragon-like body with the head of a lion and the head of I think that's a goat. I think that's right. And the head of a dragon and the tail of a serpent. You should be able to see it on stream pretty soon. I will drop it into the proper Discord channel today.
Oh, yeah.
You see it? And it's forcing its way through the door. It's not a door, the tunnel way. And it's kind of struggling to come in. And that's its turn. It's in
Well, my plan worked out really great.
Discord. Yeah, it's the head of a ram, the head of a red dragon, the body of a lion, wings of a dragon, tail of a dragon. I mean, this thing is like, what? And it's kind of forcing it, clawing and trying to force its way into the room, rending the stone of the floor with strong lion paws as it tries to get into the room.
Ruh-roh.
Right? The swarm is buzzing around, and it's going to attack Lark, who has entered the space, and it does not hit her armor class. We're back to Ezra. She is going to yell, Chimera! And point, and everybody's kind of like, really?
Yeah.
She rolled a low perception.
Thanks.
And she's going to take another swing at the swarm of bats as she advances across the room. Oh, I'm getting on the right character sheet. Ezra, there you are. 11. Oh, that hits. Nice. So, what is that? 2d6 plus 5. That's 9. Okay. The bats have been dispatched, and she makes her way across the room to face down the gaping maws of the chimera as it pulls itself into the room.
At least the bats are gone.
At least the bats are gone. Galira shrieks, no! She sees Lulu taking the hood off of Rhodey. No, you fools! Look what you've done! You've woken the beast! And she vanishes up into the ceiling. She doesn't poof vanish. She climbs up into the ceiling. And roll perception, dark vision people.
Dark vision people. That's not me.
Yeah, this is going to exceed the distance of your torch, Ethan.
13.
You see now, up in the shadows, you see her legs disappear up into an opening as she pulls herself up, and it looks like a pretty good-sized opening, like maybe 20 feet around, as she pulls herself up through this opening and vanishes. You see also the chimera looking at the ceiling. It snarls, it's dripping spittle and salivating when it sees the drow escape somewhere up into the ceiling. And Lulu, it's your turn.
Okay. So from what we can tell, the chimera is focused on where the drow went.
Yeah, it entered the room, and it sees. It looked immediately to the ceiling. It sees Galira disappear, and its focus is on the ceiling.
Okay. I don't know what to do. I don't have any spells. I can't. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. She's gonna pull out her bow and protect Rhodey. That's what she's gonna do.
Okay.
She's going to hold an action if the chimera comes at Rhodey.
You got it. That's a thing. Okay.
She'll tell him also to just keep quiet.
The sphere of darkness has dropped, and Bryphon has allowed the room to be illuminated again. It's not really Bryphon, but the drow lost concentration on the spell. Okay. That was Lulu. How about Ethan? What would you like to do? You have this chimera. Ezralyn is right in front of it, basically in melee. It's looking at the ceiling. It's kind of looking back at you all. It's not the chimera's turn. It's your turn.
And the chimera is focused on where the drow went.
Yeah, and
It's
it has
looking in that
absolute
direction.
malice in its eyes.
I wonder what languages chimeras speak.
Chimerish.
Is it? Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't speak that.
Chimerian.
I might have to cast my power word kill chimera spell.
Yeah, I mean, you hate to use that, but
Yeah, I mean, what if I run into two?
Yeah.
Don't say that.
What if it has a mate?
Right.
No.
Is there anywhere in this room that I could take cover behind?
Not really. There's a few stalagmites that would give you. I'd give you half cover if you got behind one.
The daggers that this drow had thrown, are there any nearby?
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely one over where you guys are because she threw one down that way. In fact, there should be two of them down there.
I'm gonna if I want to move, take cover behind a stalagmite, pick up a dagger.
That would leave you with an action.
Picking up one?
I would say so because you're going to move, take cover. So you only have to take half your move to get to a stalagmite. So you'd use the other half of your move to take cover. And you could grab a dagger as a bonus action. In fact, it wouldn't even be a bonus action because it's a simple item interaction. So you'd still have a bonus action and an action.
So for I want to do those things.
Yep.
And then for my action, I'm going to cast True Strike, point at the Chimera and cast True Strike at it.
Okay.
So
does it need to make a
save? It
save?
gives me an insight into it. It does not get a save.
Okay.
But it gives me insight into its defenses. So on my next turn, I gain advantage on my first attack against the target. Yeah,
you can see that this thing's got a thick lion hide, and the back end of it's more of a goat hide, and it's got the leathery wings, the dragon's tail. But you're pretty confident that if you threw a dagger up near its shoulders, near its face, its head, that would be the thing to do. That's the insight you're kind of getting from the way this thing is looking.
And okay, so that's my turn.
Okay. Bryphon is trying to free Rhodey frantically in tears, trying to, and having really no luck because he's been chained, and each of the chains has a lock on it, a small lock. Let me look through her gear. Equipment. Not a lot there. Okay. And she's really not able to do much with it. She's kind of beside herself, frantic, happy to see Rhodey, but scared to death of this beast and wanting to free him. Lark. Let me see something. She's going to hold an action. And stand over, because she had to come into the room when that freaking thing showed up in the tunnel entrance, man. She's over with you all. And she's going to hold an action looking at the Chimera kind of quizzically. She's never seen a Chimera, or they've never seen a Chimera. And they're an anthropologist, and they're very like, oh, that's interesting. But obviously doing so very warily. And it is now the Chimera's turn. And it looks around the room, and it advances about 15 feet forward and takes a deep breath and opens its dragon maw. And I need all of you to make a dex save. I'm going to give Ethan a free +2 to add to his dex save because he's behind a stalagmite. It's going to kind of shield you a little bit from some of the angst of the wonderful heat.
So a dex save. And I get +2, you said?
On your roll, on your save roll, yeah. What if I don't have enough d8
so I got
to roll the
19.
damage? What's that?
Uh-oh.
I'm just kidding.
I got a 19 for save. Yeah, if you don't have enough d8s, it fails.
It fails? Okay, that's cool. That seems fair.
Yeah.
Wrong answer. Lulu, how did you do?
It burns itself.
Yeah.
She got a 22, but she wants to just wants to cover Rhodey, like she wants to protect him.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's possible.
Rhodey's fine. He made his save.
Okay. Right.
Rhodey.
Okay, let's see how Bryphon does. Okay. Lark's good. Oh, okay. So Bryphon and Ezra are going to take 9, 10, 18, 26, 33.
So,
And you guys are going to take half of 33.
oh my God.
As fire that end of the cavern.
Oh dear.
Brody's going to take half of half because he's blocked by people. So he's going to take, that'd be 7.
What's how much?
8.
Was
Sorry, 8.
Sorry.
You're taking 16 fire damage.
Well, Lulu's unconscious now. That's cool.
Sweet. So Lulu drops. Lark drop. No, doesn't drop. Bryphon drops. Nice. I'm going to do a TPK. People are gone.
Yeah, it's not looking good for the home team. Not looking good for the home team.
Okay. And then it just roars and jumps and flaps its leathery wings and vanishes up into the ceiling, howling and roaring.
So who's down? Lulu and Bryphon?
Bryphon, Ezra.
Wait, Ezra's down?
Yeah. She had been wounded from the drow battles.
So Lulu, Ezra, and Bryphon. Gosh, which one do I like the best?
Lark immediately comes to Ezra, and Lark pulls out a healing potion and pours it down her throat. I feel like Lark was probably closest to Ezra of those who are down.
And I have and I'm going to go up to Lulu. I have a healing stitch that I got from, what's her name? Crazy Windmill Lady. And I'm going to use one of those on Lulu, so that gives her 2 hit points.
Okay.
Ezra falls, but she doesn't go down. She goes down and then her eyes pop open and she just lays there in pretty bad shape. She has a feature called Relentless Endurance that will return her to 1. She's a half-orc.
And then Bryphon is still down?
Yeah.
I have another healing stitch. I'll run over to her and put that on her.
Okay. So how much does that give?
2 hit points.
Okay. So Bryphon is at 2. Just adjusting character sheets.
Are we still on the initiative or?
The drow and the chimera have vanished up into the ceiling. There's little bits of rock and you hear scrambling and roaring and then after a few minutes it grows quiet.
I'm going to say to the others, let's get out of here.
We loved you. Luke is going to. So Bryphon is up at 2 HP. Lulu's going to use the healing potion she got from Lark. and uses it on Gryphon.
Okay, how much is she getting?
So it's 2d4 plus 2.
Yep.
So 4, 6, 8.
Eight? Okay, so that puts her at 10. Okay. Rhodey
Me?
is smiling, wincing in pain. Kind of, he's putting out his cloak. You hear a groan from the
we
other
decided that-
body as it wriggles. Also, its cloak is also kind of flaming and smoking from the immolating fire that came at you from the chimera.
Is it?
And it rolls
is it
and
a-
grunts and
what-
grumbles. It's halfling sized.
We decided that
Halfling size. I'll help him to his feet
Okay, he's hooded.
and say, "Let's get out."
They're chained. Don't forget they're chained.
Oh, they're chained. Oh shit, they're all
They're chained to the floor.
the house rule was that potions are a bonus action, right?
You're out of initiative
so-
now, so you don't have to worry about actions and bonus actions and everything. But-
Can Lulu try? No, or
Go ahead. What were you going to try?
can Lulu try to use? Can she like bite down on one of the chains holding Rhodey and use her cantrip poison spray? Like, because she uses it from her mouth. Can she try to use it on the chain to melt it?
No, it's metal. It's not going to have any effect on that. Because that's poison damage, right? Not acid damage.
Oh. Wait, hang on.
Yeah, if it were acid.
Poison damage, damn it. But
I'm gonna ask Ezra. Can you see about getting them loose?
oh, no. Primal Savagery uses acid damage. She's gonna do that instead. It's
Okay.
also a cantrip.
And it's a cantrip?
Yeah.
Okay. So how are you going to, are you going to get their ankles, their feet, just get them off the piton? What are you doing exactly?
That's just gonna work on the chains individually with Primal Savagery. She's just gonna bite on it and
So you're gonna
acid on it.
basically free their ankles, feet, and get them off the piton, right?
yeah, she's gonna work on the chains that are holding them.
And that's a
So the-
cantrip. And
Yeah.
how much damage did you say it does?
Well, do I need to roll to hit, or can I just? This is
No, you're
biting
gonna
with-
you're just gonna put acid on metal. I just need to know how much damage it does to figure out how long it's gonna take you to do
Okay.
this.
It's a D10, so. That. So, 9. Yeah, 9.
Okay. So I'm going to say that it's going to take about 5 acid damage to get each of these chains. So you're going to have to generate 5, 10, 15, 30 acid damage.
Okay. Do you want me to keep
So
rolling?
you're going to have to do that until you generate 30 acid damage. So it's going to take you however many rounds to do that, right? So you're going to have to roll your d10 damage until you hit 30 total.
Yeah,
And
so
the number
that's
of the number of die rolls you make is the number of rounds it takes you to do this.
I'm
While
gonna
she's
bonus
doing
out.
that, what are the rest of you doing?
I'm gonna take my healing potion while she's doing that.
Okay, go ahead.
4 rounds. It's 30.
Gotcha. Okay, so you have Rhodey stands up and stretches. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. And oh, by the way, this is my friend. And he looks at the halfling and starts to undo the hood. And we're gonna take a break.
Oh. this is my friend Medusa.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're gonna take just a 5-minute stretchy break. DM needs to stretch. We'll be back in 5 minutes because that's how long a 5-minute break is.
Yes.
Whew, the magic of technology. When there were 3, now there are 4, and we're back.
Yes.
We're back. We've multiplied. So Rhodey unties the hood and pulls it off the halfling's head. Dave, would you describe what the remainder of the party sees?
You see is a tiny little halfling, utterly disheveled. Massive mane of hair just sort of flopped all over the place. Gag still in his mouth, tied and chained, but looking rather gratefully up at you with big green eyes and sort of hoping, with a wistful, hopeful look, that perhaps the gag be removed. It's utterly filthy and drooled upon and chewed up a bit. And holding their hands up, sort of looking to be removed from the chains.
Rhodey will immediately remove the gag. Oh my gosh, Jacob, are you okay? Did they beat you? They beat on
fine,
me.
Thank you.
You're okay.
They
Oh,
don't
goodness.
like me.
You guys, this is Jacob. And then Rhodey kind of looks around and realizes he doesn't know most of the people that are there. He knows Lulu and Bryphon. And what's weird is neither Lulu nor Bryphon have red hair. Go ahead and
Yeah.
describe your
That's
characters for Jacob.
Well, Lulu's a little 2-foot-tall kobold, green kobold, with crimson golden eyes, and she has taken her rightful spot on Rhodey's shoulder. And she's just like, kind of like a cat does. She's just like loving on him a little bit, and just really happy to see him. She's wearing like a leather tunic type thing, with some lace here and there. But that's it, really.
Okay. He definitely wraps his arm around you, kind of up here on his shoulder and hugs you and scratches your back like he always does. Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you. Where are my things? And you notice in a heap at the same end of the room that the bodies were bound and chained. And oh, by the way, Lulu has dripped acid on all the chains, and the chains are broken while you're still manacled and your ankles are shackled. They're broken free, so you can walk freely, and you're no longer tethered to the floor. And all your gear appears to be on the floor, not far from where you were tethered up.
Very cool. Are the manacles and such locked with locks, or are they hammered, bolted shut?
The manacles themselves
How
are
are
more
they
like
secured?
are like snapped shut, so you could probably fuss with them long enough to get them off of you. The
Right.
the locks were on the chains themselves to kind of keep all the chaining together, and Lulu has done a splendid job of dissolving enough of the chain that all your limbs are free and you're no longer tethered.
Okay, good. So Jacob will work on Rhodey's chains and then his own to get them completely off our limbs. Pardon me. Working with, he will have gone to the pile of things, rummaged around, pulled out a roll of tools of some kind, and just sort of worked through all of the bits and pieces that hold the manacles onto our limbs, and then just working them off as rapidly and very smoothly and dexterously as only a half
Okay.
can.
Would you roll? What's the proficiency ability for thieves' tools? Is it intelligence or dex?
It's usually dex.
Yeah, roll that.
And there is proficiency involved, so I do.
Yeah,
have
add
proficiency.
your proficiency, if your expertise, whatever all your bonuses are, add those into that roll.
25.
So within about 21 seconds, you see this halfling deftly free Rhodey from the manacles and free himself, which is no small task when he has to go to one hand to get one and then other hand to get the other. Like in a twinkling, 4 manacles, shackles are off, 4 limbs. like, whoa. Ezra, or excuse me, Ethan, describe yourself.
So Ethan is a human. He's young. He's about 16 years old. He has you can tell, as I mentioned earlier, you can tell he's probably 124th level. He just looks that way. He's got a pile. He's got thick, curly brown hair, and it looks like he's probably never combed it in his entire life, so it's everywhere. He has blue eyes. They tend to dart around as he looks at things and people. And he wears, he's not a typical wizard in that he doesn't wear typical wizard type clothing. He wears traveling clothes that look like they're a little bit too big for him. And that's what you see.
Very nice. Ezralin is well north of 6 feet tall, half orc, clearly spent time as a mercenary or some, has seen years of action. She carries a great sword. She is a great sword and a long sword, as a matter of fact. She's wearing chainmail, common clothes. I think probably a cloak. Rather attractive in an intense, handsome sort of way. Eyes, constantly surveying the situation, calculating, what's the next move. And she says, we should get out of here. I don't know if that thing is coming back or if that bitch is coming back, but we should get out of here.
Yes, we should leave quickly before our chimera friend returns.
Is everyone ready? Are you two able to walk?
Ethan's going to...
Does anyone need to be healed?
Lulu does.
Okay. Jacob approaches you with a bit of wonder and fascination, Lulu, because maybe he has preconceived notions about kobolds and their place in the world. But given how friendly you are with his friend, Rhodey, seems quite accepting of this all. And it's a lot of water off his back just to sort of see all of this interaction take place. Seems to not be terribly bothered by it. I will, however, do a heal. So that'll be, how bad is it?
Well, I'm shooting on grad 21, so pretty bad.
Okay, I will do a second level cure wounds. Cure wounds. Cure. It's 2d8 plus 3. And that's not bad. Actually, that's quite good. That's just rolled double 8s, so that's 16 plus 3 is 19 hit points back.
Nice.
Wow.
Oh,
While he's doing that, Ethan's gonna be looking at Rhodey to see if he sees a cut on Rhodey's forehead and whether Rhodey's arm appears to be substantially injured.
It isn't hanging right. There's no sling or anything, but he's clearly favoring it. Like when he goes to put his knapsack on, he's like, on his arm.
Does he have a cut on his head?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he looks like he's been roughed up pretty good.
Ethan's going to look him over and say, it is as I had foreseen. His injuries are just like I saw.
What do you mean? You saw? Were you here? Did you witness this? Why didn't you help me?
I've helped you now. You're alive because I foresaw your injuries. You're being chased.
Huh.
Who was chasing you, Rhodey?
I don't know. We were talking, me and Jacob, and I assume we're having this conversation is because Ezra's urging you to get the hell out of there. Yeah,
we're moving.
So you make your way back through the cavern, and he's trying to explain to you that he and Jacob had recently met, were sharing tea and scones, and he remembers being a sharp pain in his side and then blacking out. And go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I was going to say, when we come to the room where the goblin was, I was...
Almost there.
Okay.
So you come to the chamber where the crack in the floor, where that stinky stream was issuing forth, kind of bubbling and steaming. You hear the familiar tink, 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 but much more frantic, if that was a thing with a pickaxe, coming from the direction of where the chimera was. I presume you're going to keep going out.
Yeah, I think so.
Get out of here.
Okay. Ezra's like impatiently kind of pulling at Lark down the tunnel. Bryphon holds the rear with her bow drawn, an arrow knocked. The two prisoners maybe side by side in the middle. Lulu on Rhodey's shoulder, Ethan right beside them. And you come out into the chamber and you see the goblin, and his face is just ashen. He's, clearly mortified at the sounds coming up the tunnel, splashing in the water. No, don't eat me. Don't eat me. And then he sees you all and he stops. Hey, it's you two. You, Jacob, and Rhodey would recognize this dude chained in the floor because he was chained to the floor all the times you were brought through these tunnels between interrogations when you were taken up into the keep and were beaten and interrogated by the various drow footmen. Get me out of here before the chimera comes. Come on, come on, come on. He's like frantically pulling at the chain.
Jacob will saunter over and remove the manacles with his tools.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Where's the chimera? Quick, we gotta get out of here.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
He doesn't wait for you
Agreed.
guys. He immediately heads out.
You said the drow and the keep are gone, right? You said you killed them.
As far as we know.
Okay. He leads you into the goblin chamber, and he just stops. And he sees all the dead goblins. What happened here? And he's looking over them, and he's clearly distraught. What?
Who did this?
Vicious.
The drow did this? Those
They're vicious.
nasty elves. I hope the chimera eats every one of them.
Someday you'll have your revenge.
He scurries up the stairs. You can hear his bare feet slapping on the stone. Slap, 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 slap. Up the stairs. Bursts into the room, and you hear him shriek when he sees the 6 drow cadavers splayed around the room on the floor amongst the rubble, the stone, the broken furniture, the bedrolls. And you come in and you see him tiptoeing through the room, looking around very cautiously.
Who did this? Did you do this?
It's time to make our escape.
You must be mighty warriors.
And he kind of just looks at you with a little bit more wonder, respect. It's hard telling. This guy's been chained to the floor for a long time. You do notice, now that he's moving around, he's got this kind of this spiky mohawk-looking situation, and he's got this brand on his forehead, like something's been burned into his skin, and it's the image of a spider, an arachnid, that's been burned into his forehead.
We should go.
Yes, let's get out of here.
Go, go, go.
So you exit the keep and dash into the swamp. It is dark outside. Must be evening because it's dark. You make your way away from the keep, kind of following the trail that the goblins led you on. You see the corpses of Eagle and, what was it, Snark, laying face down in the muck where you left them. Snarg and Eagle. And Franck stops.
What? What happened here? Those drow are so bad.
They're the worst.
We were
We gotta
slaves.
keep moving.
We were slaves and servants to them, and this is how would they treat us after our servitude.
Let's keep moving.
So you're able to pick your way back. Remember, you were on a trail. making your way through the
Yeah.
Mere of Dead Men. It smells
Somewhere we
sulfurous.
left horses, didn't we?
It's, I think maybe you did, didn't you? Where did you leave the horses?
I can't. I honestly can't. I can't remember. I remember we had them when we came in, and I think we. I don't remember. Did we lose?
Yeah, it looks like we lost Rebecca.
I'm here. I'm just.
She'll be back. This is what she does.
She's like just a voice now.
She cast invisibility. Yeah.
Yes.
So you pick your way back through the swamp out to the trail, and you make your way. It's dark. Those with dark vision are fine with it, but the halfling, Lark, Ethan don't see well, so they stay kind of in the middle of the group. Ezra will bring up the rear. Ethan, Lulu, the prisoners can kind of go to the front with Lark. Bryphon will stay in the back with Ezra. And you make your way back to your horses. Did you have horses?
We did.
Trying to remember.
The town people provided them
That's
because
right,
we were
that's
going
right.
to rescue their boy Rhodey.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, so you find, eventually make your way back to where you have the horses staked into the ground. They're still there, believe it or not. Pretty crazy, right? I mean, horses don't have any reason to go anywhere. And you can tell your bones, your joints, now that your hormones have kind of dropped from all the excitement of battle and the fear of the chimera and being burned nearly to death, and the absolute malice you experienced at the hands of the drow, and what you saw in the eyes of the chimera, and all of a sudden it just hits you all. You just kind of hit the emotional wall. Rhodey kind of breaks down. Bryphon and Rhodey and Lulu kind of spend a little time hugging and talking quietly as the rest of you prepare your steeds to slowly ride your way, hopefully, out of the Mere of Dead Men. But it is late and you are tired.
And we're still in the mirror, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you've got about, let's see. You've probably got a good 3 hours ride, you would guesstimate, in order to get back out to the high road, which you can then turn left and head north and head back to Fandelver. So you've got a good 3-4 hours ride if you wish to ride directly out of the swamp. Or you could take a long rest.
Yeah. Well.
I'd love to take a rest, but I don't know how dangerous this place is right now.
A rest would do us all some good.
Lulu tired. Lulu want rest.
Let's rest here and get out of here in the morning.
Okay, so y'all going to take a long rest?
Yeah.
That's fair.
With guards.
Okay. Yeah, you can set your watch. It's easy enough to do. All right. So we're going to just kind of move quickly through this long rest phase because there's not going to be anything happening. Any RP that you want to do? Now's a great time for that.
I think he's going to stay cuddled up to Rhodey the entire time, so.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a problem with that. He cuddles up to all of y'all.
They're cuddle buddies. They're so cute.
Ethan's gonna say, what did the drow want with you?
No idea. We were having a nice second breakfast, and suddenly we were out. Might be time for some tea and scones, don't you think?
Rhodey smiles and nods excitedly. He likes your scones.
So, what Jacob will be doing and this is probably might perceptually be seen as much busy making as anything else, is Jacob is busying himself with an unusual chimney stove, if you will. It's a tube made of steel that he takes from his pack. There's a grill on top, and into it he places some wood that he finds from deadfall and whatnot, lights it up and starts getting it nice and warm. Puts another device on top of it, which is a square box with a door in it and a bit of a vent on top for the heat, and opens up a small portable table and starts pulling out other ingredients out of this seemingly endless backpack, including flour and soda and a bit of grease and some raisins and other things, and takes what's left of his water skin and looks around to scavenge anyone else's water skin that might be around that they're willing to share, and they're just busying themselves making a dough and then putting it on a pan and inserting it into the oven once it's at what he determines to be a suitable temperature. Puts out a small jar of jam, a small jar of honey. There's a clay, a pot of butter that seems to be about maybe quarter or a half consumed. Busying himself with a teapot that he has, putting that on top of the stove full of water to start putting on the boil. You see there's a pouch on the table as well. It might have some tea in it. And again, seemingly endless, he pulls out a series of teacups and saucers and puts them out and starts counting and thinking, may not have enough saucers and teacups, but we'll try, we'll share. And just makes this sort of a weird evening pre-sleep repast of some kind. It looks at the tea pouch, puts it away, takes out another one opens it up, takes a sniff. You can probably catch a whiff of it. It's more not like black tea. It's more of a chamomile type of thing, perhaps something more relaxing or soporific to help sleep. And just sort of preparing the tea and pouring it out and giving some to everyone. Don't know how a giant half orc likes tea and scones, but it is what it is. And as the scones are readied and whatnot, he pulls them out of the small oven and apportions them out to everyone and invites people to take whatever condiments they want on it. Looks expectantly at Rhodey. Maybe he has some more meat and cheese, maybe not.
Yeah, Rhodey will pull out some more dried meat and cheese that he had stowed.
Isn't this great?
Careful.
See, this is what we were doing when we got stabbed or poked or jabbed or whatever it was, and we passed out.
It's hard to imagine they were able to sneak up on you.
Oh, well, we were not really paying attention. We were talking a lot about our respective times in Waterdeep. It was so much fun. And then it was black. And then a lot of pain. And then fire.
And
then you were there.
They asked us questions about Waterdeep and where we were going and where we're from. And they just wanted to know as much as we could tell them. I mean, that's what they asked me.
Did they ask you about gnolls?
He looks over at Jacob like,
Not that we know of.
no. Roll perception.
Who?
So-
What?
Who? What? Who?
Who's rolling?
Anybody?
Oh, man. I used
No.
up all my good perception rolls.
6.
I heard an 8.
Oh, no.
Lark with
I
a
got-
mouth full of honey and scone looks at Ethan. What? What's that?
I got an 8.
And says, where's the goblin?
Uh-oh.
There's no sign of Frunk.
Oh, that goes to show you. They never stick around for a good cup of tea.
Well,
This entire time, Lou has been focused on Jacob working on making the scones. She's like intrigued. So she doesn't even like really care about the goblin not being there, but Jacob cooked too?
Oh, yes. When you travel as much as I have, you have to learn how to cook. Otherwise, you go hungry. And being hungry is not good for a happy little halfling.
Lulu cooks too. Lulu has
Oh.
big.
Well, we'll have to get you cooking.
Other than the disappearance of Franck, it's quiet in the swamp. You find a dry enough patch. You know, near where you staked the horses. This is a place that you camped before you got on foot and headed in the deeper swamp, trying to find um, this brother of yours. As you're all talking, Rhodey actually falls asleep like in mid sentence. He's tired. Kind of passes out, curled up between Bryphon and Lulu.
They didn't ask you about Knowles.
I had no knowledge of that.
What did they want to know about Waterdeep?
Oh, well, the usual political structures, who rules, probably some of the laws of Waterdeep. Maybe they're looking to infiltrate the city. I don't know.
How about Phandalin? Did they ask about Phandalin?
I don't think so. I don't know much about Phandalin. If they did ask, I would have to say I don't know.
Ezra leans in. Where were you when you were taken?
How far from Phandalin do I think we were at the time? Or
You guys were about a week north of Waterdeep. You were right along the Mirror of Dead Men, kind of camping across the high road from... The high road kind of borders the swamp to the east, and you were on the east side of the road in the, right there along the swamp. And so your best guess is they probably came up out of the swamp. And you've been in the keep for a while. Probably a few days. Maybe a week. It's hard telling between the beatings and the barely any food and that stuff.
Yeah, so we're continuing to eat our fill. Like Jacob will look over very with a fond eye, but also shaking his head at the how can I put this, the need for the young ones to spend so much time sleeping. Even though Jacob himself could probably pass for no more than a child in human terms. In fact, you suspect he may actually have passed himself off as a child more than once in his life.
So it gets late, and Ezra and Lark volunteer to take the first watch.
All right. Ethan's going to look at his spell book, make his preparations for the next day, and then go off to sleep.
Okay. You all can cycle through your watches. It's a quiet night. All you hear in the swamp are the comings and goings of small, creepy, maybe little rodents and things. Maybe a couple of deer wandering near to the horses. Nickering and stomping of the horses occasionally, but it's a quiet evening. And the morning dawns, and you're well into the swamp. You've got well over a mile to go before you get out of there. So you can tell the sun is up, but it's like this dim, darkish green-gray glow versus sunlight. And one by one you awaken to the morning.
Well, I, for one, don't want to spend much more time here. I suggest we get moving.
Go ahead and in D&D Beyond, give yourselves a long rest.
Long rest.
You're tired, you're achy, you're sore, but you're, none the worse for wear beyond that.
Okay. This is a good thing. So breakfast in the morning will be a repeat for Jacob.
Rhodey will help you.
He's breaking out more of the rations, though. He's run out of flour. Can't carry much when you're a halfling. And is sort of breaking it up and making maybe a bit of a porridge out of some of the items and throwing in a bit of meat and cheese just to get people some good, thick, solid food for the day. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day, after all. Then their second breakfast. Busy themselves with that.
Roll perception. Anyone who would like to. I know Ezra and Bryphon will, because they're kind of the watchers.
9 for Jacob.
I got a 3.
Aren't we observant?
My perception rolls were really good at the beginning of the game.
Okay. Ezralyn stands up and pulls her greatsword quickly. She points at Rhodey and looks at Jacob and says, "Get by the horses. Arm yourselves with whatever you can. We're being watched." And you hear the snap and the slursh of the occasional, you can tell something's coming in from various sides around you. And I'm going to ask you to roll initiative.
Jacob will start cranking the crank to get his light crossbow going.
Nice. Okay.
'Cause that's the only weapon he's got. So, 18 for Jacob.
All right. Bear with me a sec here. Ethan, what you got? 6.
Yep.
Lulu? What'd you get for initiative, Lulu?
Oh, can you hear me?
No, I didn't.
Yep, we can hear you.
Oh, I can now, but I didn't hear what you
16.
said. 14?
16.
16, sorry. Hang on, I have to roll lots of initiatives. Don't let that bother you. One more. Okay. Esterlin charges. You're kind of all around your horses, sort of together. Rhodey being right up against the horses because he's kind of a non-combatant. You don't see him draw anything. He's clutching a nicely carved oaken walking stick that may, double as a quarterstaff. And you see Ezralyn dash off into the swamp, into the muck and so forth, and out from the direction she's dashing steps a large humanoid. By large, I mean easily her size, like 6'5", 6'6", brandishing a club, carrying a spiked shield, and it looks like an iguana sort of lizard. It has this big fan over its head, almost like a fish fin, a comb, if you will, brightly colored yellow and orange. It has feathers hanging from it. It has some, like scaly everything, clawed feet, clawed hands, and it's got this nasty looking club. And Ezra's going to take a swing with her greatsword, and again she pounds it on her hand, and you know that signifies that she's enchanted it with her booming blade. And she takes a major swing with this greatsword. Let's see, that's an 18 to hit, and that hits. And she's 2d6 plus 5. 7 and 5 is 12, and 7 is 19. And she opens up a huge gash across like shoulder to hip, and this thing just squeals and roars as green blood starts to run out of it. Jacob, you're up. You can hear creatures stepping through the mud and the muck and snapping twigs and breaking apart shrubs as your group is surrounded by 6 of these dudes. They're kind of all around you in a circle.
Okay.
They're probably
One
within
that
about
Ezra-
20 feet of you.
Cool. The one that Ezralyn is attacking will hear the sonorous tolling of a bell and
Oh,
needs
nice.
to make a
Wisdom save,
wisdom
right?
saving throw DC 13.
Okay, roll to 14.
Damn. Saved.
So it kind of turns its head and, like it has itchy ear. It's uncomfortable, but doesn't cause damage, right? Because it saved.
That's correct. This
Okay.
Save is no damage.
Very good. Would you like to take any movement or bonus action?
Am I close to any of them, or are any of them close to me?
They're kind of equidistantly. There's kind of 3 on the side of the horses you're on, and you can hear and tell there's 3 on the other side. So you could easily get to, you're 20 feet away. In fact, you could run under the horses. You could get to either side easily as a halfling.
Yeah. Jacob's not a huge combatant. So the desire I have tactically is to stay away from them as much as possible.
Okay.
So if moving puts me a greater distance from anything that's approaching,
Yeah, you
that
could
is
take
where Jacob
you
will
could take
move.
shelter under a horse. I mean, you're right there at the
Yeah, that
horses.
doesn't usually bode well,
Unless they bolt.
especially if a horse decides to take off.
Yeah, they are staked for the moment. They're clearly stepping around nervous, like as horses will do. Okay. Next is my lizard folk. The one is going to take a swing at Ezra. Let's see. With the club. That's a miss. And then it's going to try to bite. And that's a miss. Man, my attack rolls tonight have been kind of pukey. The next one is going to rush the group and come at Lark. That is a hit with the bite. Lark's going to take 8 damage. Hey, this is fun, damaging characters who aren't here. Nice. And then it's going to try to take a swing with the club. And that's a hit. This Lark gets hammered by this lizard folk. And that's 5 more damage. Let me keep working around here. Let's see. Lulu, are you with Rhodey?
Yeah.
So you're kind of in the middle between people and lizard folk, right? Like
yeah, I mean, yeah.
they'd probably have to come through lizard folk to get to you then, or through your not lizard folk, through your compadres. So one's going to take a swing at Bryphon and misses with the club and hits with the bite for 5 damage. Bryphon kind of howls and curses in Elvish. Okay, looking for the halfling. You're gonna get half cover +2 to your AC because of all the bodies and horses as it takes a swing at you. Does a dirty 20 hit your armor class +2 to your armor class?
Sadly, yes, it just does.
Okay. 7 bludgeoning.
Ouch.
Owie. Okay. There's one more coming toward the mage. Squishy mage boy. Club swings and misses. I'm guessing an 8 probably doesn't find purchase for you, Ethan.
It does not hit me.
Okay, Lulu, you're up. You're not in melee. You're with Rhodey on his shoulder. You have a nice vantage point, so you're short bow. Or if you have spells and cool things like that.
So the lizard folk are surrounding us.
What's that?
Are the lizard folk surrounding us?
Yeah.
Okay. She'll. I'm tired. She'll just shoot with the crossbow at the nearest one.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
19.
That's a hit.
It's 4 damage.
Okay. Awesome. You just going to stay right there with Rhodey?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Bryfon's going to fire an arrow and blast that same one in the chest that you just hit. That's a 5 on the die plus 4 is 9. So she sticks that thing with an arrow. Lark is going to hit that same one and force it to make a wisdom save. Toll of the Dead, I roll a 3 because I don't know how to make saving throws. It's taking damage. That's a D12. That's a 7. That's a dead lizard folk as it drops, clutching its ears, bleeding profusely, croaking and flopping around until it ends. Ethan, you are up, sir.
So, how many of them are left?
There are 5. One is gravely injured in melee with
There's
Ezra.
5 left. Okay. And there's one that attacked me.
Yep. Yeah, you've got a melee guy.
And if I were to cast a spell that was a 15-foot cone, I could get the one in front of me. Could I get any of the others?
They've closed ranks around you, so I would say you could get one right beside the one that you're targeting on either side of it.
I'm gonna cast Burning Hands, so I'm gonna
Nice.
start casting, speaking, and then my thumbs go out and my fingers go out, and flames shoot out into that 15-foot cone, and I need them to make me a DC 13 Dex save.
I got a 19. Whoops, hang on. Looking at the character sheet. 18 and a 12. So one fails, one doesn't.
Okay, so, I guess one of them took 4 points of damage. The savey guy, and the other one would take 10.
Okay. So 3 are now damaged, 2 are undamaged. All right, very good.
And,
Anything else?
Nope, that's all I got.
Okay, Ezralin's going to take a mighty swing with her great sword. Oof. And she's going to cleave the head. Oh, man, almost max damage. She's going to cleave the head of the one in front of her, and it goes down. And then she's going to move in front of Lulu and Rhodey so that it cannot get to them. And Jacob, it's your turn.
Okay. So, how close do we have a cluster of these things to us?
They're right around you, so you guys are all in melee. Lulu and Rhodey are closest to the center of the horses, and they've got Ezralin between them and the lizard folk, so they are not in melee.
Are these considered humanoids?
They are medium humanoids. They're at the large end of medium.
Yes. I am going to try this. Jacob will take his walking stick with a flourish, wave his hand, and say, "Welcome!" and cast Charm Person at 2nd level, which means I can affect 2 creatures.
You're going to hit the undamaged ones?
Wisdom DC. Yes, the undamaged ones. Wisdom DC 13.
Go ahead. You got them.
All right.
They are charmed.
So
they
they
like
regard me as a friend for 1 hour.
Nice.
And they remain so until the spell ends, or until me or one of my companions does anything harmful to it. So hopefully they will take Jacob's welcome to just sort of come forward and be nice and friendly instead of hostile.
Okay.
And that hopefully has taken 2 combatants out of the picture for a little while.
All right, very good. Yeah, the one that's on Lark and the one that's on you are both undamaged. And it is their turn. So they come to you, lay their clubs at your feet, and bow. They open their pouches, and they pull trinkets, bones, feathers, stones, and they hand them to you. And they begin speaking to you in this guttural language that only Lulu and maybe Ethan, do you speak Draconic?
I do not.
Hello, welcome to our swamp. We are your friends. We love you. You're short and nice.
That's what you hear, Lulu.
And she cute.
And they kind of wink at Lulu. Not in a gross way, but in a friendly way. The one that's between, that's on Ezralyn and Lulu looks over like, what? And takes a swing at Ezralyn with their club. Missing, and then tries to bite Ezra, hitting. And Ezra's going to take 4 bite damage. Owie, owie.
That's not good.
I mean 4. You know, how bad can it be? Okay. And then there's one on Ethan who's equally as puzzled. It swings and misses with its club and rolls a nat 1 on its bite, breaking off a tooth while attempting to bite you as it howls and spurts blood from its mouth, taking a point of damage. It is now Lulu's turn. For some odd reason, 2 of them are being super friendly to Lark and the halfling, after you saw the halfling do some mumbo jumbo. Roll me intelligence, Lulu. I want to give you a chance to know what's happening.
Just not a save, just a straight roll.
What's that? Straight intelligence roll. D20, add your intelligence bonus.
9.
Okay. Yeah, you're like, man, that's weird, but cool. Okay, go ahead and do your thing.
Lulu will shoot at whichever one's not being friendly.
Okay. Yeah, there's one that Ezralyn is in combat with.
Nine.
That does not hit.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Bryphon is going to fire a bow at the one closest to Lulu and Ezra. And she buries an arrow in the throat of that one, and it squeals. Looking rough. It's bleeding profusely. Lark is going to try another Toll the Dead on that one that just got hit with an arrow. And it rolls a nat 1 on its save, and I don't know if I've made a save at all tonight. And it keels over, taking 11 damage. There's 1 damaged and up on Ethan, and 2 have befriended the halfling and Lark. It is Ethan's turn.
So the only one that's up is on me.
Yep. And I'll give you, if you want to make an
I am
intelligence
going-
roll or an arcana check to see if you can figure out why the heck these two lizard folk are being nice to the halfling.
Well, I got an 8.
Okay. You're like, I mean, I know something happened, but I'm not sure what the heck's going on with that. But it's cool.
The one that's up and on me, I'm going to cast Mind Spike on him,
Cool.
and he needs to give me a DC 13 Wisdom save.
That's a 3.
All right, good. So he would take 16 points of psychic damage.
Oh, man. What does it look like when you end this guy?
So he would probably reach for his head and sort of cry out in pain, and like blood would start coming from his eyes,
Nice.
and then he'd just crumple to the ground.
Ezralyn looks over and starts yelling at the other two lizard men in some unintelligible language, probably Orcish. And they just look at her. And they kind of step between her and the halfling and Lark. And kind of bare their fangs at her. Like they're protecting Jacob. Jacob, it's your turn.
And Jacob will speak up and say, no, it's okay. They're friends. But this is more to the group than to the lizard.
Right.
Everyone's friends here. Are there any more hostiles?
There's just the two that you have charmed. The rest are down.
Yeah. So I just say, we're all friends here. Everybody's very cool and copacetic. And does anyone know how to speak their language? Because I do not.
Lulu speaks Draconic.
Okay. Because I've got a couple of friends here. And Jacob gestures to these lizard men. Perhaps we could find a way for them to leave and let us get on our way.
They're kind of looking and they say,
For an hour.
"Why are you in the swamp?" And Lulu, you understand this. They're very pleasant. Like, why are you in the swamp? This is our part of the swamp. Except it's all like croaky and lizardy.
We're just passing through.
Oh, well, sorry for friends attacking. We not know why they attack nice friends.
And he kind of pats Jacob on the head kind of roughly.
You nice too, little one.
Chuckles and smiles.
You should go now before shaman come. Shaman not like dead
Sounds like a good idea.
lizard men.
This is all in Draconic with Lulu.
Goodbye. Lulu will go now.
Yeah, y'all
Pack
can
up and leave, I guess.
y'all can saddle up. They'll step back. They'll give you some more feathers. Each of you gets like a feather. They make a kind of a fuss about giving you feathers and rocks and pointy things and
Cool. Jacob will rummage through his stuff and give them, like, I don't know, maybe a couple of bent spoons or something. He's a bit of a junk collector as well.
Oh, nice.
There's some cool metal trinkets and things back.
Yeah,
there.
they are thrilled. They're taking the spoons and like bending talking to each other, showing them to each other. And you all can easily mount your horses and ride off.
Way out of the swamp.
And we will end our session with
The
that.
swamp set.
Charm saves the day. Nicely done.
Yes.
Let's do quick outros. Everybody's dying to know who this new guy is. So, Dave, tell us who you are. Tell us about Jacob, class and race and level. And
So, hi, Dave Hay Wilson on the social medias. I am playing Jacob Everfleet, a character that I have ported over from another campaign that ended a while back. down leveled for this. Scott asked me to join, and I thought this was a perfect opportunity to bring Jacob back to life. Jacob is a Lightfoot halfling, cleric of Brandabaris, and if anyone knows Brandabaris, yes, they're a trickster domain. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be very interesting. And Jacob, I think, is going to have a great time with all of these lovely folks.
All right, Rebecca.
Even if there isn't a beholder involved.
Right.
What?
We're just doing quick bye-byes, outros.
Goodbye.
Somebody's sleepy.
I'm really fucking tired. You can go to the next person. I'm done.
All right, Ethan, what's up, buddy?
So I'm Chris, WikiVA, Discord, and Twitch. My Twitter handle's below. If you want to see me play D&D, this is the only place you can see it, because this is the only place I play D&D. And I play Ethan, human diviner, just a young kid making his way in a very crazy world.
Yep, for sure. And in case you're wondering, everybody's third level. So leveled up a couple sessions ago. I'm Scott. I'm Wiley Hobbit. I'm your DM, and thanks for hanging out with us tonight. We had a lot of fun. Dave is going to be a new member of the party. We had a couple of folks, due to life changes and things, have to leave our game, and we're sad, but we're going to enjoy Dave's company, and hopefully next week Ms. Misery will be back up and running, and we'll see you next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Thanks for hanging out. Have an awesome night. See you next time.